Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Captain's ace in the hole, Captain Ginyu, and how good he is after his Extreme Z Awakening. Now, Captain's ace in the hole, Captain Ginyu, is really good. He's a unit that I have loved for a long time. He obviously got phased out from stat increases and everything, but there was a time where he alone, plus the free-to-play units and his banner units, were like the only alternative team to doing Red Zone. So when Red Zones first came out in the 6th anniversary, or was it the 7th, the 6th or 7th, the Ginyu Force team was the only alternative. So if you didn't get either of the 7th anniversary LRs, basically you had to have the Ginyu Force team. And Captain Ginyu could carry you to victory. I used him to pretty much clear every Red Zone, because I didn't have the 7th anniversaries, and he was amazing. And because his team had so many free-to-play components, the 2 LRs, and the banner units were general banner units, so fairly accessible, all of a sudden Captain Ginyu looked pretty cool. He phased out over time, but he is back with a vengeance, and alongside his 2 banner units that got easy A's, he got one, and he looks incredible. So Terrifying Conquerors, All Planet Namek Saga, 170% lead, 30% extra for Space Traveling Warriors. This is good in conjunction with Terrifying Conquerors because it covers your freezes, etc., which is always great. Raises defense permanently and then raises attack for 1 turn. Also great. I was hoping for greatly raising, but I understand why they didn't. Basic effects, attack and defense of 200%, damage reduction 20%, 60%, Ginyu Force support along with 20% crit chance, and high chance of launching additional super. When attacking a 12 or more key, 150% attacking defense. Per Ginyu Force category ally on the team, 20% attacking defense up to 100%. Now I was hoping that they would reduce this, make it so that he could achieve it with like only 3 other units, but it is what it is. When there's another Ginyu Force category ally on the team, attacks are effective against all types and high chance of launching additional super attack. So that's 2 built-in additionals. For 1 turn from the character's entry turn, or when HP is 70% or more at the start of turn, chance of performing a critical hit, and damage reduction up of 30%. So Mr. Ginyu has 2 high chance of additionals built in. He also has, on top of that, 50% damage reduction when HP is 70% or more. He stacks defense, and he has an innate 50% crit chance. He's also a 60% support for his category. So yeah, pretty good stuff. On top of that, he can transform when HP is 70% or less, and when he transforms, he will turn into Ginyu Goku. Ginyu Goku greatly raises attack, which is fine, recovers 59% once off, key +1, attack and defense of 250%, launches an additional attack, there's a great chance of becoming a super, attacks are effective against all types, and damage reduction flat of 50% unconditional. He has 100% attack when attacking, chance of critting 50%, and great chance of launching an additional super attack, which again is pretty good. So instead of having 2 high chance to fire supers, he's got 2 great chances. He does lose a little bit of defense, which is a bit of a shame, but he also gains that 50% crit flat. When receiving an attack, he'll get 150% defense and also force the enemy's attacks. This is a different multiplier, so that actually makes his defense higher when receiving his first attack. And he has 50% evasion chance. He'll force the enemy super attacks when there is a chase on the team. So this is a good transformation, but honestly feel it could have been a bit better. I think they needed to make the evasion higher. So before they used to have him build up his evasion with each attack, they've just made it a flat 50% now. They should have made it a flat 50 and then given him chance to build up another 20, even if that was off evasion or something. He also, to be honest with you, probably needed just great chance of crit. 50% crit is good, like don't get me wrong, it's fantastic, but it's not enough, like especially when you consider the fact that he has that basically in his base form. Right now, outside of the heal, I'm gonna be honest and say that transforming is probably not really beneficial. Like, I don't see a point where transforming is honestly super beneficial for this character. If I look at Captain Ginyu, in terms of his overall functionality, transforming with him gives the healing. It makes his damage reduction unconditional in terms of HP, and it gives him some evasion chance. But in reality, sacrificing stacking defense and getting minimal offensive gain is not hugely necessary. At least not if you're not in a terrible situation. Like if you need the heal, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna die. If Ginyu gets hit, I'm gonna die. If Ginyu, like this is it, this is game over for me, then yes, pop that heal, pop that transformation. But if you can hold on, recover, and then pop it a bit later, I think personally, rather it's best not to transform him. That's my personal opinion, just overall. Other than that, I think he's great. He scales really quickly. He heals you, of course. He provides support. He has good utility. His link set and his categories were always bound to be limited. And like I said, the transformation isn't the biggest like bonus or advantage that one might see. But overall, he's a really, really, really top-notch unit. I will say, look, in terms of build, I think he's a difficult one because he feels a little bit like a jack of all trades. 50% damage reduction, 50% evasion, 50% crit. So you can build him really kind of however you want. But personally, I would say additionals benefit him. Quad supers scale his defense so quickly, scales his attack so quickly in his transform states, and then probably evasion to really give him another layer of defense, like a proper layer of defense, especially once transformed, making that evasion a little bit more reliable than the 50% it is. So if you could have him at like 20 attack additional and then maybe 10 evasion, or even maybe like 15, I think you do want the ability to proc additionals. You want to be able to fire off that 4 super attacks in a turn. You want to be able to evade in a turn. And I think it's super important. So I do think that's all crucial. Look, I think his team is much, much better now. Int Ginyu LR is a very good unit still. Captain Ginyu is a very good unit now. Rakum and Gilda are an excellent unit. Chase and Bertha are a great unit. So I think the team is in the right place. I wish they would have a little bit more options because you have literally need to have those 4. But Captain Ginyu is awesome. Bye.